All right, headed to the hospital for baby checkup, and we're doing, what's it called? The glucose test. Just drink a bunch of sugary stuff and see how our body handles it. Because of the COVID thing, I don't get to go into any of the appointments with her anymore. I have to just wait out in the car and just wait for her to be done. Alright, well, now I sit here for an hour or so. I suppose we should just make it productive and talk about some audio stuff while we're at it. Yeah, so I touch on a lot of mixing and mastering on this channel, but I want to touch on the recording side of things as well, because that's where most people have problems, and they wonder why their mixes don't sound good. It's because the recording isn't good. There's too much room sound, which is that reverb sound inside of the recording, and that just sounds terrible. It's almost impossible to get out. Like, you can't completely get it out. You could suppress it a bit, but the best way to get a good sounding song is to start with a good sounding recording. So the first thing is pick a spot in your room that's going to be the best sounding one. Just walk around your room and find a spot that's going to sound the best. You could do several test recordings to get this, and you want to make sure that you have some type of acoustic treatment in that area at least. The closet is a very popular choice, but if you can, avoid a closet, because small spaces like that are the most that are known for comb filtering, which is when you have walls or hard surfaces really close to you in the microphone. So your voice is bouncing off of that hard surface and bouncing into the mic so fast that your ear doesn't register it as a delay, and instead it's just this really weird, like, phasey sound. So you want to try to avoid that. Pick a spot that's like a couple feet away from any hard surfaces. Typically I try to stay 3 feet away from any hard surface or wall, window, anything like that. And then if you have a hard floor, you can throw down a rug so the reflection is not bouncing off the floor up into the mic. If your ceilings are really short, then think about treating the ceiling. Even if you have to put a blanket up, that it doesn't really matter. Blankets, foam, whatever you could do to get a good sounding dry recording, then just do it. If you don't have acoustic treatment yet, panels, foam, all of that in your room, and you have that, like if you clap your hands and you hear that echo, that little ping type of sound, then you want to avoid that. So you need to put something up, whether it's blankets or put a bed up on its side. It doesn't matter how it looks, it matters how it sounds, because people are going to be listening to your music. They're not going to be looking at how you recorded it, unless of course you're posting it. So just do what you can to get the driest recording possible. Vocals should sound dry. You could add reverb later, so don't worry about it being too dry. Most rap vocals are very dry sounding. They have little to no reverb on it, especially like the older rap stuff. The newer stuff, you could really like get a lot of reverb on it, like Post Malone, all these like newer stuff, they do have more reverb on their vocals at times, but not always. So getting a dry recording is a great start, because you can add that reverb if you want to later. Stand away from the mic about 8 inches or so. I use my hands, like pinky to thumb is about 8 inches. You want to stay around 8 to 12 inches from the mic, so just put your thumb at your mouth and then the pinky are at the mic, and then that's about the distance you want to go. And then in between that, put your pop filter so you don't get any plosives or anything like that, so the P's and B's don't stand out. Don't move around too much. You don't want to be bouncing all over the place when you're recording, because it's going to be off axis. You don't want to sound like you're talking to the mic and then all of a sudden you're over here and you're not talking to the mic and it sounds distant. So that wouldn't sound as good. Performance is the #1 thing. If you don't have a solid performance where you're really like showing the emotion of the lyrics, then people are going to hear that and not going to like it. It could be the best sounding recording ever, but if the performance is bad and there's no like emotion put behind it, then it's not going to be good. That's music. Like, you're not going to like a song that sounds like the artist doesn't care about what they're talking about. So #1 thing is the performance, and there's nothing the engineer can do about that. That's all on you as an artist, is to make a great sounding song with emotion and a good performance in it. Make sure it's on time. Nobody wants to hear stuff off time unless that's your style. Like Blueface, his stuff's off time and I can't stand it. Like, some people like it though, so if that's your style, go for it. But for everybody trying to be on time, then actually get it on time when you're recording. Recording levels, I like to do -12 to -18 dB. That is on the preamp gain. On your DAW, have that fader at 0. And if you're averaging -12 to -18 as just like the basic normal level, then you're gonna be good, because on the louder parts you could get up to -6, you could get up to -3. It doesn't matter as long as you never hit 0. So give yourself some headroom, and make sure you don't ever clip the signal, because then that just ruins it. You're gonna get this distorted sound that you don't want. If you want distortion on your vocals or saturation on your vocals, you could add that in post. You don't want to accidentally get it during the recording phase. It's always good to start with the basics and get the recording good. You don't need an expensive mic or anything like that. There are microphones that are like $150, $200 that sound pretty good. I know the Rode NT1, I don't know if it's NT1 or NT1A, but that one, it sounds pretty good. It does have a bit of like a mid-range build-up compared to higher end mics. I use the AKG C214. I love that mic. It's the same capsule as the C414, which is an expensive mic, but this one, because it's not the dual capsule, it's just a single, it's cheaper. So AKG C214, it's a very bright mic though, so it might not work for everybody, but for people I've recorded, it works out great. I just might have to tame a little bit more of the top end, more sibilance comes through, stuff like that. There are very, very expensive mics, like that Sony, was it C800G or something like that? It's that like $10,000 microphone that's really popular with a lot of like hip-hop artists. It's a great sounding mic, but it's very bright. Has a lot of top end to it, so you might have to a lot of de-essing, a lot of cleaning it up. I've seen stuff where Kendrick's vocals were going through that, and the engineer had to really take out a lot of sibilance because of that being such a bright mic. So same thing with like the AKG C214. It's a bright mic, but that's just that's the character of the mic. So yeah, just use what you have, get the best performance you can. Even if you're using a $100 mic, your performance is going to mean more than the mic's sound. So if you get a better performance than somebody using a $10,000 mic, then your song is going to sound better. That's just how it is. It's going to come down to the emotion of the song. Just waiting for the wife to get out of the hospital for the baby checkup and doing that glucose test. And I'll see her in about, I don't know, 30-40 minutes from now maybe. And I'm just going to chill here in the car. Alright? Alright, Mary's finally out.
Oh, beautiful. I actually just pulled up to the supermarket, dude. So.
Nice, perfect timing.
Peace out at that.
Laters.
Hello.
How was it?
Yeah.
Not bad. This mall is usually super busy. Check it out. Everything's all curbside pickup now. Gotta get my Chipotle, then head back to the studio. Back in the studio, gotta come up with, I'm doing a collaboration on a song. It's my beat, and I have an artist doing the vocals, but the hook, I want it to be a little bit different, so I'm trying to come up with ideas. And I don't write a lot of vocal stuff, or I never write vocal stuff because I don't do vocals, but I like to try to come up with like rhythms when I'm writing beats and stuff like that. So I'm trying to come up with something, and then we can just use his words and get it all going like that. So I want probably something like this. Let's see. No words, just rhythms.
Stuck with the notion that
something like that, just more of a rhythmic thing. I think that's what I kind of prefer, but we'll see when words are put to it how that sounds. I have no idea what would be put to it, but I'm gonna send that to the artist, see if he could come up with something along those lines with the rhythm. I'm gonna do a revision, do some studio stuff, but that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll have another video coming out pretty soon. All right, see you on the next one. Peace.